you should see this camera setup I've got. I want it to be very, very safe. And I could not stand all the attachments that I had for my camera, but I've got one now. It's for my GoPro. I invented it. And you're going to laugh when you see it. I'm on my way to Thomas's school, which is about 40 minutes away, so I want to use my time wisely. I wish I could have found my microphone hookup so that you wouldn't hear car noise as much, but oh well, that's life. I'll look for that later. I'm usually really good at keeping up with all my technology stuff. I don't know where it is. But I was tagged in a holiday tag, and I usually do not do tags. I don't usually like the tags, but today, because I've been sort of doing Vlogmas, I think I'll answer them. Alright, question 1 was, when do you start decorating for Christmas? And that is the Friday after Thanksgiving. And why is it the Friday after Thanksgiving? Because we have Maggie at the house, and Maggie is our Christmas organizer. She makes the guys go and get all the decorations, and then she and I take it over and do it all the Friday after Thanksgiving. Question number 2, what style do you decorate in? Well, I don't know. So I made up this term. It's called traditional whimsical or traditional whimsy. I don't know if that could even be a thing. Once upon a time, when we had our big house, we had a huge 20-foot Christmas tree, and it was frou-frou tree is what we called it. And it had a lot of elegant decorations, but now I keep only the family tree. Back then we had 2 trees. But what we call the family tree, that's with all the old family ornaments, the ornaments that mean something to us. And that's the only tree we have now. And I don't over decorate the way I did before. I decorated every room. Don't do that anymore. Everything is usually traditional Christmas colors, because that really looks best in my house too, and comical or entertaining type things. Is that the right thing? You know, like those s'mores ornaments, for example. I think those are funny. They make me smile. Speaking of the s'mores ornaments, I went to Maggie's this past weekend, and she has her own little collection started. We just love these guys, and I bought her this little nativity last year. Loved it so much I had to buy myself one this year. Number 3, what's your favorite Christmas tradition to do with your family? Well, probably, I guess the funniest activity is the one we do on Christmas Eve, where Dad gives everybody $15. I think that's how much it is. And then we would go to Walmart. We draw names, and then we go to Walmart, just the 5 of us. And we buy a secret present, and we're dodging each other in Walmart and everything. Then we would come home, and we used to wrap them, but we don't even bother to do that anymore. We just keep them in the Walmart bag. And it's usually pretty funny. And this year I'm considering changing it up. I don't know, so stay tuned on that. Another Christmas tradition that we really, really like is we always go to the early service on Christmas Eve evening, and then we come home and we eat soup in front of the TV where we watch a movie, usually The Santa Claus. Number 4, where is your favorite place to buy Christmas decor? I really don't buy a lot of it anymore, but even so, I think my favorite place is vacation. Now, the reason I say that is because we usually, for our souvenir for vacation, is we usually buy a Christmas ornament, and that helps us to remember the trip in a way with a practical souvenir, you know, something that's going to last longer than, say, a t-shirt or whatever. Favorite Christmas movie? I think I would have to say White Christmas with Bing Crosby. I like a lot of Turner Classic movies. I know the Penny family does too. I watched hers. She tagged me, by the way. I've been tagged a lot for this, so I am I'm hitting all my tags by answering these questions. Eggnog, hot cocoa or apple cider? Hot cocoa, hands down. Do I like the others? Yes, but if I'm going to treat myself in such a way with all that sugar and stuff, I'd like hot cocoa. All right, number 7. Do you leave out cookies for Santa? And if so, what kind? We don't do that anymore because Santa doesn't stop by our house right now. We don't have any little children. And so what we used to do is put out pound cake because we figured Santa Claus got a lot of cookies, and so he probably would like to have something different when he came to our house. And we always put out carrots for the reindeer. Real or artificial tree? My tree is artificial, and I'll tell you the reason why is because real trees make me sad. They've given up their life to let me decorate them and for me to enjoy for a short time, and then I just would throw them out. And I know that sounds silly, but it made me sad. So, artificial tree. Okay, favorite holiday dessert? That would be pound cake. It may also be fudge. I will share my pound cake recipe with you one day. Maybe that could be one of my Vlogmas episodes. But I won't share my fudge. It is superb, and it is my family secret. Favorite holiday cookie? I really don't have one, but I will tell you a funny story about sugar cookies. You know how I do the whole thing, like good moms do. We get out the sugar cookie recipe, and we would roll them out, and we would make the sugar cookies, and it would be a terrible mess. And there would usually be an argument somewhere in it, and the kids would get bored, and it was just a huge to-do. And then in the end, the cookies would rarely get eaten because, as we found out, nobody liked sugar cookies. They were just kind of blah. So what we learned to do, they loved the decorating, but only for so long, and then kids kind of lose interest in the process. So I solved that problem by buying slice and bake cookie dough, the sugar cookie dough. We'd just roll that out. They loved to do the cookies, and then they could do the decorating. It was so much faster, much less mess, and we'd only do one roll, so if they didn't all get eaten, I didn't feel too horrible about that. So there you go. Do you open gifts on Christmas Eve? Nope. Well, unless you count that little game that we play on Christmas Eve, we open those, but all the gifts are saved until Christmas morning. Do you decorate your tree yourself? I decorate with Maggie. Like I told you earlier, we make the guys go get all the stuff for us, and then we do the decorating. Dad may put a few things up for us, but for the most part, it's just the two of us. And I like it that way. Now, once upon a time, I used to be in charge of the Mississippi Metropolitan Ballet Guild. And so I did not have time to get all the house decorated. So Tucker's cousin, Billy Ray, worked at a florist, and they would come over and do our decorating of the big frou-frou tree and all down the staircase. We had this, not a spiral staircase, but it was a swooping staircase, and the tree stood behind, and they would take care of all those things. But I always would say, leave the family tree for us. So we would decorate just that, and that was a big help at a very busy time. But we don't do that anymore. Okay, so where do you spend Christmas Day? We spend it at home. It's kind of an unwritten rule in our family back when we had family nearby. You open your presents on Christmas morning, and then you go over to the youngest member of the family's house and see what Santa Claus brought. Now, that turned out to be us when Thomas was born. So that meant that everybody ended up coming over to our house for the most recent years. And so we would feed everybody breakfast. Our good friends too would come over, and that was a big deal. But here in Atlanta, it's just us. So we just have a really quiet day at home. Favorite Christmas smell? I think that would be pine, like the Christmas tree that I can't have in my house because it makes me sad. So we have a few candles. Favorite thing to craft or make during the holidays? I think that would be gift tags. We started that tradition when the kids were little. We would, back when they used to say paper or plastic, and so you'd always get paper bags, and we would turn those paper bags into wrapping paper by letting them stamp or do something, whatever I had up my sleeve. And then we would make our early digital cameras, and I took a picture of them, and then we made a stocking out of construction paper, and then I printed a picture and made it look like they were hanging out of the stocking. And different. They were different every year. One time it was just reindeer. We wrote on the back of their heads and stuff like that. So now I usually do make my Christmas tags. I don't buy them. They're not as elaborate, or don't spend as much time on them as I used to when we had kids at home. But I still make my Christmas tags. I just love Thomas's school, so I thought I would. Let me hit that lady. I just thought it would be fun for you to see what I see when I drive up. There's the school right over on this side. Football field is right there. And followed by the basketball field. No. Baseball field, which is what Thomas plays. That's the mess hall, where we have 3 fireplaces in the back of there. Look at the mountains over the ugly power plant. I always think it's quite striking. There's the practice football field. Just want you to see this view up here by the flag, which is flying at half-mast on a beautiful day in honor of President Bush. Isn't that beautiful? And the leaves are falling off the trees. I just love to see those mountains in the distance. Now, those 15 questions I will list in the description box below if anybody else wants to make a video answering those. But you know what I'd like in my comment section? Try to answer that question, in what style do you decorate? Try to describe in a few words, what your style is in Christmas decorating. That was a hard question. Well,